Josh Stewart, RBS Morgan, representative here on the coast. Welcome to Business Insider, and we're excited to hear what's going up and what's going down today in the share market, so we might come on to that a little later.
Yep.
I won't actually ask you, so that's okay. RBS has been on the coast, in one form or another for a little while now. When people over dinner say, well, what do you do? What do you do?
Primarily stockbroking, full service stockbroking services to clients. Morgan's stockbroking dates back to 1937 in Australia, so that's how it started, and then it was through various name changes. It's finally become RBS Morgan's a few years ago and moved into the more financial planning space.
Okay. You're a relative new arrival on the scene here,
Yep.
Out of a background in paying yourself through university and study, I guess.
Yeah, trading.
Trading?
Yeah.
So, must work.
Yeah.
You've got to put all your disclosures if I go too much further in there,
Yeah.
so we won't go there. So, how has it changed in the last 12 months? Is Gosford, as an epicentre of share traders, it just doesn't work with me? Is it growing? What's happening?
There's a few different brokers in the Central Coast. We're the main one, so we're the main locally owned and operated in the Central Coast. So we do get a lot of business through Yellow Pages and things like that, but there's a lot of people that are just one-off trades, selling their IAG shares that they've got from the demerger of NRMA and NIB shares and things like that. So, but there's a lot of people that have moved to the coast that are retiring from working in Sydney, and so there's a big space of people that are nearing retirement or they're at retirement that need superannuation planning and transition to retirement planning, things like that.
And so what are your values if they can either come to you or they could go to one of the other options up here on the coast? What does RBS offer?
The main value is that we've got our own clearinghouse. So for a clearinghouse, you need sort of $15 million in a bank account ready to settle people's trades. So traditionally, a normal financial planner will use a platform, whereas we trade directly on and off the market. So we can buy and sell shares directly to the market. The main benefit of that is the timings.
The speed.
Yeah. So you're getting that price right then and there. You're not having to wait a couple of days for something to go through or overnight.
So what's happening with your clients? Are you seeing the awareness of on the coast lifting, and what they expect of you is more in that broader than just selling and going into the financial advice? Is that what's happening or not?
Yeah, a lot of people. There's a big move towards the self-managed super funds now, which is what is driving us as a business, because we've got our own platform which works off a self-managed super fund, and the big push for that is that majority of people, 80% of people that are setting up self-managed super funds have a large stack of equity in that. So they're coming to brokers more than they are financial planners, because they're being able to look after their asset allocation themselves, which is why they're doing the self-managed super fund, but they want someone to look after their stocks or their property or that, so they're more taking control of themselves now.
Okay, and that market's growing on the Central Coast?
Definitely, especially with the retirees coming up from Sydney. Yeah. There's a lot of people that have quite a bit of money that are living around the areas of the Central Coast, and they're typically your self-managed super fund market.
Okay. The next 12 months, have you got any objectives for the business over the next 12 months?
The main is just branding, so get our name out there. RBS Morgan's Australia-wide is not really focused on marketing much at all.
They don't do it?
No.
Yes. We've got a perfect opportunity. We need to talk about our advertising availabilities and charges. Incredibly modest a little later too.
Yep. So they are moving a lot more into marketing nationally now, but more on the Central Coast. We're just trying to push things like seminars. So we have a smart board in our office, and we set up where we get sort of 10, 15, 20 people there. We come in and we talk about an area. We've got one coming up in a couple of weeks for employees on superannuation, offering to their employees. And a couple of other ones that I've done are economic updates, just letting people know what's going on in the market, because how the market's been going lately, people are worried, especially if they've survived the GFC, they don't want to lose everything. They don't want to go through it again.
Indeed.
Another thing is just the online sort of marketing. So with my market wrap that I put on Business Insider each week, and then sending emails out to my database of what's going on in the market each week.
Okay. Yeah, it's a great asset. No pun intended. I just realised. Anyway,
Yeah.
We'll leave that alone. In terms of business here on the Central Coast, we give everyone the opportunity to have a bit of a rant. To say, okay, well, I'd really like to change this. What would that be with you?
I'd suppose that there's a lot of people, especially younger, my age sort of generation, that...
Not that young.
No. Not just on the Central Coast, but I suppose everywhere, that they view super as not their money. They don't worry about it until they get older, to the point where there's not much we can do when you're 50, 55, nearing retirement. So I'd just say take control of that a lot earlier, have a look and see who's managing it, what they're getting, what they're charging you, what they're making. That way you know exactly what you're invested in, how much you're being charged for it, because you can actually find better.
But treat it as your money.
Exactly right. That's the main thing. It is your money. You're working for it. If it wasn't going into your super fund, it'd be going into your back pocket.
Indeed. With regard to the relationship with the Hunter, you've got offices there.
Yeah.
Do you share speakers and facilities? Do you share seminars?
Yeah, so we did a few years ago, we did a big one with Roger Montgomery. We did one in Newcastle and one on the Central Coast when he was pushing himself and his products. So that was a really good. So there was big turnouts to those events. I think there was over 100 people that went to the Newcastle one, and a little bit less that went to the Central Coast one. So we're looking at doing something like that again, a big name to sort of push what we believe in and what we focus on.
With the regulation, the federal regulation across financial advising, does that have impact on what you guys do?
Definitely, FOFA is a big thing, future of financial advice. So what they're looking at is the first tranche is due to come out the 1st July 2012, and then, which is going to be voluntary now because they haven't decided on the legislation. It will become mandatory in 2013, 1st July 2013. So what they're looking at is the commissions that the advisors are receiving ongoing from insurances, from margin lending, from managed funds, that type of thing. So there's some people out there that have super funds with advisors linked to them that are getting paid off them, and they've never even met them or spoke to that advisor, and they're still getting a trail commission from that. So that's what.
Is that the biggest?
That's the biggest impact. That's what FOFA is really trying to look at and trying to change. The difference between us and I suppose a lot of those other people is that when we're producing a statement of advice, you're shown every fee that you're going to be charged up front, so you know exactly, the client can make an educated decision. Being part of Morgan's, we've got our compliance department which is really cracks down on stuff like this, so we're already
meeting
the new legislation before it's even really come out.
Yeah, so if someone makes the ill-informed decision and doesn't go with you, they should be getting that same level of transparency anyway, shouldn't
you
they?
find that majority of places will provide with a statement of advice with everything. So what FOFA is going to try and do is so that people opt in every year or every 2 years, so that they opt into the fees that they're being charged, because people that have had a super fund or a managed fund for 20 years and are being charged a fee, well, it's not really a fee, it's a trail that comes out of the fee they're originally paying is going to someone that they've never even dealt with. That's the big problem.
And invisibility is what this is all about, removing that.
Yeah, just being transparent. Obviously, if you're paying for advice, you want to get it. So if your advisor's not giving it to you, then
why are you paying?
Go somewhere else.
Or her.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And we look forward to the updates.
Yep, thank you.
All right.